Okay, now we continue with the synthesis of glycogen. As you can see from the name here, Genesis means synthesis lah. So if you are a Christian, you have a book of Genesis, means that the formation or synthesis. So this is basically just the opposite of the glycogenolysis, only that this glucose needs to be attached to one energetic molecule first, which is UDP. Okay, as I told you before, we have the ATP as one of the energy molecule, but in this case, instead of A and the adenine, we use uracil U, which is another nucleotide, and it can be attached to the glucose molecule and cause this molecule to be energetic, and then it can be added to the glycogen molecule. This is very important because glycogenesis is actually a process of anabolic reaction. Means that it requires energy to be done, to be performed. Yes, so we need to attach one energetic molecule. So this is the process. As you can see from here, this glucose needs to be converted to glucose 1-phosphate first, the opposite of the lysis, okay, using phosphoglucosamidase, and then it needs this enzyme UDP glucose pyrophosphorylase to replace this 1-phosphate into UDP, and then this UDP can be added to the growing glycogen molecule using glycogen synthase. Okay. So this is pretty straightforward. You can actually watch the video to understand more about this process. So this is a summary, the type of enzymes needed to convert the glucose to glycogen, and also the type of enzyme required for glycogen to be converted to glucose. Okay, you can try answering this one. When glycogen is mobilized, okay, the answer is pretty straightforward. When you don't have enough glucose or you are in the hungry state. And then when glucose is converted to fat rather than glycogen, okay, when the glycogen storage is full. Okay, so this is some of the pathological condition in the human because of the defect in the glycogen storage disease. There are several ones, but the two major ones are von Guericke disease, which happens in the liver, and the Cori disease, I think, is not only in the liver, it happens everywhere. Okay? So this one is defect in glucose 6-phosphatase, means that the glucose 6-phosphate cannot be converted to glucose, so it will stuck in the liver. Okay, and it will also affect gluconeogenesis. Why? Because gluconeogenesis, formation of glucose in the blood by liver, also use the same enzyme. Okay, later we take a look at this one. And it can cause enlarged liver and hypoglycemia. Why? Because if stuck in the liver will become big, okay, because there are a lot of glycogen that cannot be used. Secondly, because the glycogen cannot produce the glucose in the blood, and it can cause the glucose blood level to reduce. The second one, Cori disease, is deficiency in the branching enzyme. Okay, it means that it cannot cut the branch in the glycogen molecule. So this comprises up to quarter of all glycogen storage disease. It can affect both liver and muscle. Okay, it means that it can happen everywhere. It can cause muscle weakness because, of course, when the muscle doesn't have enough glucose, it cannot produce the energy, so the muscle will become weak. And it can also cause enlarged liver and muscle because most of the glycogen is stuck inside the respective cells. So this is the regulation of glycogen metabolism. Both mobilization, glycogen phosphorylase, and synthesis, glycogen synthase of glycogen are regulated by hormones. For example, insulin. Okay, insulin promote the glycogen synthesis. Glucagon means that glucagon inhibit the glycogen synthesis but promote glycogen lysis. Cortisol is almost the same as adrenaline, but it is for a longer time. For example, if you are stressed for a long time, so cortisol will be released slowly in your body. So when cortisol is released, the effect will be almost the same as adrenaline, means that it will start breaking down sugar, breaking down glycogen, but it doesn't mean that you will become thin or slim, okay? Because all of these enzymes, although they affect the metabolism, they are actually important for other reaction in the body as well. So people who got high level of cortisol, usually they are very stressed, and then they will feel they want to eat all the time. They will become tired, sleepy, and so on. So there are many physiological condition that happens with the release of one hormone, same as insulin as well. Okay, for example, insulin probably trigger something as something related to the brain, your depression level, and so on. Right? So it's important to know, although this particular hormone they can affect the metabolism in the body, you cannot just simply say that, oh, insulin is for the anabolism. It can probably affect other part of the body as well. So for the insulin, for the metabolism part, it is released actually usually after you eat, because when you eat, the glucose in the blood will increase. So insulin is released to promote the intake of glucose into the cell, so that the blood glucose level will be maintained at certain concentration. So it promotes the conversion of glucose into glycogen. Insulin is produced by beta cell of the pancreas. High levels are associated with fat state, means after you eat. And then insulin stimulates the target organ and tissues to store and conserve fuel and decrease rate of fuel oxidation. So insulin will start promote the glycogen synthesis or fat synthesis and suppress the fat lysis or glycogen lysis and so on. This is an anabolic hormone. So as you can see from this picture, insulin is like a key that can open the cell to allow the glucose to enter into the cells. So this is the insulin's function. You can read it yourself. Okay, there are plenty of them. Okay, so this is an example. For example, when you are fasting or you're not eating anything and at rest, the insulin level is low because there is no glucose that is required to enter the cells. So the glucose transport is low into the cell, and glycogen synthesis is low as well. But after you eat, the blood glucose will increase, so the insulin will increase to allow the glucose transport into the cell, and it will also allow the glycogen synthesis to go up. Okay, so that you use the glucose that is being transported into the cell. Okay, you can see that one is one of the example of the insulin, but you can read yourself about the effect of other hormone. So insulin is the anabolic hormone, but glucagon is the opposite of insulin, which is catabolic hormone. So this one is also catabolic hormone. Usually happens when you are under duress or under stress. For example, you are being chased by a dog, or you're being your mother are angry at you, so it's probably produce an epinephrine because your heart will beat faster, and then you will start sweating and so on. Cortisol is almost the same as epinephrine or adrenaline, but it is released over a longer time. Okay, and usually this hormone is associated with chronic stress. So each of these hormone, the deficiency or extra release of them can cause, of course, diseases. Okay, but the one that we usually use is insulin. Okay, there are two most common form. There are more than this one, but the two common are type 1 and type 2. Type 1, the sufferer does not have the ability to produce sufficient insulin, but the receptor of the cells is working. Means that insulin, the source of the insulin production in the pancreas is destroyed. Usually this one is because of the genetic lah. As soon as you are born, you probably are born with this condition. Your pancreas is not working. But type 2 because of the lifestyle. Because when you eat too much, the insulin is being released all the time, and eventually the receptor on the cell that is taking up the insulin to open the cell for the glucose to enter, they become broken because they are being abused. Okay, so when the means that the pancreas is working, producing the insulin, but the recipient, okay, the cell that received the insulin to open the cells is broken, okay? And eventually it will also lead to overwork beta cells in the pancreas, and because of that the type 2 can sometimes regress to type 1 diabetes, okay, because the source is already broken as well because they are overworking. Both type will have high sugars in blood, but type 1 is prone to acidosis due to the formation of ketone bodies. Okay? This one you can try find it yourself why people in type 1 is more prone to acidosis compared to type 2. Okay, the answer is because of the insulin. Okay, so this is one of the example on how the catabolic hormones such as glucagon and epinephrine can cause the changes in the metabolism. For example, it can cause the glycogen synthase to inhibit glycogen synthesis, and then it can promote the lysis of the glycogen to provide more energy, and also it can cause the hormone sensitive lipase, the one that is allowing the fat to be broken down outside, okay, to break the fat. Okay, so the fatty acid is released from the adipose tissue and can be used as energy. Okay, now we enter into gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is the resynthesis of glucose only inside the liver. Remember this one, only inside the liver, very important, not muscle, only inside the liver. So it provides the source of blood glucose other than glycogen to prevent hypoglycemia. Okay, so that we know that in order for the liver to stabilize the blood glucose level, it needs to convert the glycogen to glucose. But this one, it can convert other things other than glycogen. For example, pyruvate, for example, amino acid, amino acid, and then it will undergo the reverse reaction of glycolysis. So most of the reaction is the same as glycolysis, just the reverse of it. Okay. So the major uses of glucose, brain and muscle. Top priority glucose supply for the brain because the brain need a relative large amount of energy. Okay, our brain use 1/3 of the energy every day. Does not have significant energy store. Okay, mostly just the brain cell dependent on the blood glucose as the energy source. Only if there is no glucose anymore, then it will use the ketone body from fatty acid. Okay, but only after prolonged fasting. And it is also not sensitive to hormone regulation. So it means that it always use the glucose as source of energy without the effect or influence of the hormone that we learned earlier. So the major producer of glucose, okay, liver 90%, okay, and kidney somehow can produce about 10% of the glucose in the blood. Okay? This one is producing the glucose for the blood, so the blood sugar level is stabilized. Under fasting condition, gluconeogenesis supplies almost all of the body's glucose. Okay? So because we are not taking any glucose from the food, gluconeogenesis is a process by which glucose is made from small non-carbohydrate precursor. For example, lactate. Okay, we learned about the Cori cycle before. Pyruvate, amino acid, glycerol comes from the fat. I told you before, fat can produce ketone bodies, but this that one is for the fatty acid part. But the glycerol part, okay, because TAG contains glycerol as well, right, can be converted to glucose. Or any metabolite that can be converted to pyruvate or acylic acetate. This one is one of the intermediate in the TCA cycle, can be used as glucose precursor. Okay, so gluconeogenesis is not a simple reversal of glycolysis, but employs many of the same enzyme of glycolysis. And glycolysis have 10 reactions, but gluconeogenesis have 11. Okay, because one of the steps in the glycolysis, it requires 2 new steps in the gluconeogenesis. Later we will see how. Okay, I will stop here.